Hello, everyone. I guess it's a bit of a strange title where we're talking about translating research and bringing it into the clinic. I'm here to talk about our journey so far at DotPlot. I am a product designer by background and a Medtech founder of a company called DotPlot, which is an AI-powered at-home breast health monitoring tool. We're aiming to facilitate early breast cancer detection. Let me start by setting why we started to do this in the first place. In 2024, 2.3 million women were diagnosed with breast cancer globally. 31 women die just within the UK. And with early detection, we know survival rates increase up to 93%. We also know that the cost of care for stages 3 and 4 to treat a patient per year for the NHS is almost 2.5 times for treating stage 1 and 2. If we could have these late detections caught early, we would be saving 1/5 of the budget for the NHS and roughly around $9.4 billion within the US. Guess it's not just that, right? We, as designers, were always taught to focus on the patient, on the users first. And through the course of the last 2.5 years, we've managed to speak to over 250 women themselves. We found out that the avenues to conduct these breast self-checks are limited to videos, pamphlets, and tutorials, all proposing different methods, which leads to a lot of confusion, misconception, and dismissal of what might actually be a symptom. Women, like me, we often don't know how often we're supposed to do these self-checks, at what point of the month are we supposed to do these checks, and what exactly are we feeling for with our fingers alone. Which is why we've created DotPlot. It is a handheld miniaturized ultrasound device that is only applicable for the breast region, and it collects breast tissue images. We've also built a mobile application that simplifies the entire process of self-check, and a software that analyzes these images to report any signs of concern. To use DotPlot, you simply log onto the app and provide your general health information, including menstrual cycle details. We predict the best date for you to do your self-check. We then create a 3D model of the torso, which is not just a tool for personalization. It is the basis of how we provide real-time guidance to the user, and it's also the basis of how we correlate a specific image the ultrasound system is taken and recorded for the specific region. We then guide the user through the self-check process, highlighting the regions that have and have not been covered. So what is it that we're using? Well, like I mentioned, we're using ultrasound, but what we're looking to do is classify these images between healthy and unhealthy data sets, and then the further classification includes cystic and non-cystic. We're currently almost 89% accurate in doing so. Our goal is to generate report for patients themselves and people who are using these to flag any signs of concerns that they can then take to their doctors and seek medical attention. We've always put the users first, and it's such a novel interaction that that no one's ever seen before, so we had to validate this with the users themselves. We went around conducting a usability study with 83 people and found out that people found it really easy to follow the instructions. They were really comfortable in creating these 3D models, and also found themselves more motivated to do these self-checks. Having spoken to so many people, we were able to analyze who are the people who will adopt DotPlot the first. Well, everyone age 20 plus globally is supposed to be doing self-checks, but we're specifically after those who are within the age group of 30 to 50, where we've also seen a rise in the incidence rates for breast cancer, and these are the women with increased susceptibility to breast cancer, those who have presence of BRCA1, BRCA2 gene, or a family history of breast cancer. Just within the UK and US alone, this constitutes to be 5 million people, roughly. How are we going to reach these users? We've constantly been wondering, are people going to buy this themselves, or how will we ensure trust in a product like this? So we would love for people to adopt DotPlot as a self-pay model and be able to sell it via booths, stock it on the shelf. But we're looking at pharmacies first within the UK. Pharmacies would buy DotPlot at a price point of roughly £12.50 per unit and would make £7 per check that a user does within the pharmacy. Why are we going to the pharmacies first is also because we've seen recently that community pharmacies are now trialing these systems that can help steer direct referrals to secondary care units. We've also spoken to chairs of NPA who have validated the positive impact that DotPlot could create if adopted within the pharmacy route. I guess the next thing to wonder is it novel enough? Since it's an ultrasound-based device, we've seen ultrasound handheld device exist for way too long now. But there's nothing that's user-friendly, which is on the market, is objective for a self-check use for at-home use. You have butterfly network systems, you have eye sonars, you have eye breast exams, but all of these are meant for clinical settings. None of them are actually being used within the home setting. Our technology is also patent protected. We filed 2 patents to date. We have 1 patent that encompasses how we do the self-check itself, and the next one that helps us locate the exact position of the device on the body. The toughest bit of all of this has been how we attract talent and how do we build credibility as non-clinicians within this field. So me and my co-founder, also present here, we both are graduates of Imperial, but we both have a background in design engineering and a strong command on solving for user needs. However, navigating this initially was quite daunting as 26, 27 years old. And so we started pushing the boundaries and getting people on board for this. So now we have Dr. Stephen Ebbs, who is a retired breast surgeon. We have Professor Jeff Bamber, who has 35 years of experience just working in ultrasound physics. He's also the Deputy Dean of Institute of Cancer Research. Stuart Kay, who's been bringing medical devices to the market for the past 20 years, and Aarti Gunani, who's previously also brought a device to market that has to do with detecting cancers early on. Not just that, we approached manufacturing companies to figure out if this is technically feasible or not. Werman currently manufactures 7% of entire world's ultrasound probes, and they're pioneers, and they have been pioneers. They work with Philips and all of these big companies. And we have them on board in terms of helping us figure out how we do the first design and development cycle. Dr. Jeff Bamber himself has said how he's never seen something like this before enter the market, and this is something which is such a big unmet need in the industry at the moment. So we started DotPlot in 2022 after finishing our master's. It was merely a concept back then. So far, we've secured grant funding of roughly around £285,000 just through UKRI and NIHR. We've also been featured in various news media outlets, validating how critical this solution is for the industry at the moment. And we have received the support from from Cancer Research Horizon, validating the potential to deliver impact. Well, we also aim to conduct all of these trials that we've been gearing up for, including a formative usability assessment coming up this year itself, a data gathering study followed by a summative usability assessment. And this is all to ensure that we have a successful method comparison study by the end of 2027. All of this, while navigating all of this and learning about the medical journey that we should take, we've also had the time to shape a holistic vision with creativity. So we don't want to just create a lump detection technology. We want to create something that is a one-stop shop for breast health. We want to be then able to use all of the data that we've gathered to advance the research and fulfill the data sets, fulfill the gap that exists in data sets for developing the research when it comes to breast density and the correlation between breast density and breast cancer. So we know that with DotPlot, we can make these self-checks possible, and early detection is very critical to that. So I guess I would end by saying that with DotPlot comes the clarity, ease, and confidence to conduct these self-checks. And just a key takeaway from this talk has been that we often find it really hard to convey in medical terms as we're not clinicians, but that also gives us the ability to observe problems that others end up overlooking. And whilst navigating the regulations, we end up and understanding the pathway itself. It takes a big chunk of our time, but it also gives us a very, very strong consumer and user-centered perspective. It has taken longer for us to find people in the industry who resonate with the mission itself, but that has also helped us create a multidisciplinary team that is not just aiming at the problem from one end, but it's also aiming at the problem from the other ends. Thank you so much for listening.